Hello, welcome back to Story Molder. I'm Vern. Today's story is entitled The Ungrateful Children. Once upon a time, best beloved, in a village near the forest, there was an old widowed man who was weak and frail. With his weakened condition, he thought that he was nearing the end of his life, and it would serve him well to divide his property amongst his adult children and go live happily and peacefully with them. He called his sons together and said, "If you all promise that I will be allowed to stay with one of you for the rest of my life and provide for me comfortably, then I will give you all my property." The sons promised. In the beginning, the father lived with his eldest son, and everything went smoothly. After 3 years, the son felt resentment and considered his father no less than a nuisance that brought needless trouble and expense. The son rationed every morsel of bread that his father put in his mouth. Then he took away his seat at the table and put him at a small corner table next to the bed where he slept. No one cut up his food. No one washed his clothes. Feeling stressed and unwelcome, the old man decided to leave. The very next day, in the first light of dawn, he left and went to live with his second son. Even before the morning was over, he realized that he had only exchanged wheat for straw by moving there. Every time that he ate, his second wife gave him the meanest look and mumbled something underneath her breath. One day, the woman yelled at him in a harsh tone. "We were living from paycheck to paycheck. Now you, old man, have added to our burdens." He didn't realize that his son was married to a woman that could not hold her tongue. Needless to say, he quickly left and moved with his third son. Even there, amongst a house full of kids, he felt ignored. He began to taste the bitterness of this fear of blatant abandonment. Each son had one excuse after another for not supporting him. They didn't know what honor thy father meant, considering that they treated him like a dog. They argued about who should take care of him. "He should be the one to keep you, Dad." "No, Dad, we have our hands full. It's hard enough to keep ourselves." "I have a lot of children, Dad, and the house is way too small." Also, their wives complained about being too poor. Finally, they said, "Go where you want, old man, just don't come to us." Hurt and bewildered, the father had nowhere to go. He wept like a baby, crying his eyeballs out in front of them. "I have no one to turn to. I have nothing. What can I do? Where can I go?" he asked his sons. That same day, the sons put their heads together. Then the oldest son announced, "Dad, we have decided to send you to school." The old man asked, "School? Did you say school? I don't want to go to school. Please, my children, don't send me to school." The father pleaded tearfully. "I'm too old for school. With my failing eyesight, I cannot see letters in a book. I didn't learn my letters when I was young. So what makes you think I can learn them now?" "Dad, nothing can make us change our minds. You must go to school, and that is that," growled the oldest son as he walked away. Filled with regret, the father walked on and on and on to the neighboring school until his house was far behind him. Suddenly, he saw a nobleman coming up the road on a horse. Respectfully, he took off his hat and moved to the side to let it pass. The nobleman stopped and asked, "Where are you going?" Encouraged by his compassionate voice, tears welled up in the old man's eyes. Then he poured out his soul through an agonizing cry. Tee! Woe is me, gracious sir. If the Lord had not given me children, I would not complain. But the trouble is, I have 3 sons who all have houses of their own. I am old. I gave them all my property, but now they're getting rid of me by sending me away to school. Have you ever heard of such gross injustice? The nobleman listened attentively and was full of compassion as his heart went out to him. "Well, old man," he said, "there is no need for you to go to school. That's clear. I'll tell you exactly what to do. So don't worry, don't weep, and don't be troubled. God will bless you and everything will work out for your good." The nobleman reached into his pocket and pulled out a jeweled purse. The old man said, "Oh my goodness, what a beautiful thing that is." After filling the purse full of something that jingled, he handed it to the old man and said, "Take this and go home to your children. When you get there, call your 3 sons together and tell them this story. My dear children, a long, long time ago when I was younger and I knocked about in the world a bit, I made a little money. I didn't spend it all. I said to myself, you never know what might happen. So I went into the forest and dug a hole beneath an oak tree. There I buried my savings. I left the money there all this time because I had such good children. But when you all sent me away to school with nothing, I went to that same oak tree and I said to myself, I wonder if those gold coins are still there. So I dug and I found them right there where I had put them. Today, I have brought them home to you so that you can inherit my fortune. I will keep them, but after I'm gone, you all can decide who has cherished me the most, taken care of me the most, given me clean clothes, and given me a crust of bread when I was hungry. To him the greater part of my money will be given. The nobleman said, tell them that story, and I guarantee you that your children will never send you to school again. But remember, if you do not kill worry, worry will kill you. All that weeping, leave it for the babies. Then the nobleman went off at a full gallop. Now, no sooner than the father appeared with that jewel purse than the oldest son's wife came running out the door to meet him. Her eyes lit up on that jewel purse. She said, welcome back, Dad. Things didn't seem right without you. The house has been quite dreary since you've been gone. Come on in and rest your legs, Dad. Guiding him to a comfortable chair, she said, you have gone such a long way and must be tired and weary. Immediately, the father called his sons together, and as he was telling them the story that the nobleman gave him, he could see the greed in their eyes. No doubt, they were thinking, if we keep him, we will have the money. So, which of you will be so kind to take care of your dear old dad for the love of money, he asked. Willfully and joyfully, all 3 brothers bent over backwards for their dear old dad. All the same, he remembered the advice from the nobleman to never let the purse out of his hands because you never know what might happen. Many days followed in which the old father moved amongst his sons as he pleased and did nothing. He was no longer mistreated, but lived happily, comfortably, and peacefully amongst his children like an emperor in his own empire for the rest of his days. No sooner than when their father left this earth, those children quickly retrieved that purse. They agreed to divide the treasure equally. When it was all said and done, the purse's content was unsealed, opened, and scattered. They found that it was full of nothing but glass. Desperately, they rummaged through the glass, but there were no coins there. What? Wait a minute. This can't be, one son said. This is a mistake, another son said. Surely our father did not dig up a purse and it was just full of nothing but glass. Why? Our father has left us nothing but glass, the elder son said. Then he saw the folded note in the bag and read it. A father who gives all away before he's dead should be dealt a blow to his head. That said it all. The sons sank into a heartbroken silence. They were overwhelmed with the reality that their father had made fools of them. The people of the village greeted the news with thunderous applause, laughter, and teasing, saying, "You all got your just reward." Soon the son's silence gave way to a convulsive rage, and they wept bitterly. But what could they do now? In their lamenting, they chanted, "Dear old Dad has left this earth. All he had was glass in his purse, not a bag of glistening gold as we were told, but a bag of glistening glass was exposed. There's nothing more to be had from our beloved dear old Dad. Our lesson we have learned. Sadly, we don't get a second turn." The Ungrateful Children. Thank you for stopping by and listening to one of my stories. Come back as often as you like. I'll be happy to have you. Goodbye for now.